Hello, everyone.
Hello out there.
Good afternoon. Let us know if you're hearing us and seeing us clearly. We are the Sawyers, and this is Cornerstone. And we're glad you're here with us. Glad you're here with us. This is Cornerstone.
Sure is.
You all right?
Yep.
You're doing your head funny.
My ears.
Your
hearing
ears
it.
messing up already?
Yeah. I've
Oh,
been like that all day.
boy. All right, welcome you guys. Welcome. Let me get rid of my banner because I'm getting ready to say hello to y'all and see who's here. Let's see. Butterfly Whisper, that's KK. Hey, KK. Hey, James D. We missed you guys Sunday. And there's brother-in-law and sister. Hey, sister and brother-in-law. There's Dee Dee and George. Your grandbaby gone back. Your son and your grandbaby gone back.
Wish we could have seen him.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen them. And John Greason is in the house.
Dr. John.
Yeah, and Linda Lang is in the house.
Yeah.
Linda, is it cold in Washington State, or is it, what's your weather like? She says she can see and hear us good. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Hey, Vern. Good to talk to you today, sweetheart.
Vern, I hope you're doing okay. I hear you are.
And there's Sinette in Denmark. It's midnight in Denmark. Oh,
Ooh,
bless your heart.
Ooh.
You stayed up to watch us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, darling.
That's a compliment. I really
Thank you,
appreciate
sweetheart.
that.
I'm so glad that you think that much of us and are ready to receive. And there comes Joe. He's coming in the house. Good to have you get in here, Joe. Yeah. So you want to jump in today?
I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, but you got something. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. You look like you're a little bit sleepy, but
I am.
Yeah, a little sleepy.
My hearing is going in and out.
Oh, it makes you kind of tune out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get going and it'll just pop open.
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope so too. If you shake your head, everybody will know what's going on, won't they?
Because I'm hearing you out on one side.
I know, and this
here.
isn't your good side.
No.
It is gonna be your good side.
Okay.
Yay. Anyway, let's do hey, Pastor Norman. How are you?
J. Henry Norman.
Yeah, that's Pastor Norman. And then there's Linda Langley saying the weather is mild. Good dog walking. Yeah, it is here. Good dog walking weather. Baby girl and I walked, and actually it's a little bit of wind blowing now, like kind of unseasonably warm, kind of like a tornado kind of weather. So I'm hoping it doesn't spawn any. But yeah, we're doing good here. And let's see. Let's do. We haven't done the I am affirmations in a while. Let's do that. Let's do the I ams. All righty. Let's bring ourselves back into that truth that we are. The truth that we are. And I don't know about you, but we've been kind of busy all day. And you kind of just, you don't forget yourself, but this brings you right back home. So I want you to just settle yourself in and hope you're not too busy. If you are busy, I hope you can stop and lay aside everything for just a moment. And I'm going to do this. Try to do it slow enough where you can repeat after me, okay? Let's do it. I am complete. I am blessed. I am spirit. I am infinite. I am eternal. I am the unborn. I am nameless. I am ageless. I am unbound. I have never been bound. I cannot be bound. I am authentic in that I am the author of this life. I am unaffected by anything as I remember what I am. I am undisturbed. There may be disturbance here, but it is not that I am. I am unafraid. I may experience fear, but there will be courage in the midst of it. I am clear. I am intuitive. I am open to all messages from Spirit. My heart is open. My heart is surrendered. My messages and intuition is clear. I am free. I am timeless. I never age. I am outside of the bounds of time. I am the unconditioned. I am peace. I am forgiveness. And before forgiveness, I am the unoffended. Therefore, sometimes I don't need to forgive, for I have never been offended.
Wow.
I am non-judgmental. I judge no one. I monitor the opinions that come through me regarding others, and remember and realize that they are the same. We are the same. They are me. I am all inclusive. I embrace all. I embrace all differences and celebrate their differences. I am the indestructible. I cannot be killed. I cannot be hurt. I am not even material. I am immaterial. I am immortal. I am essential. Without me, everything would fall apart. I am the essence of everything. I am that which by which everything consists. I am the indescribable. There are no words for me. There are no definitions for me. I am undefinable. I am unaddicted. No thing has power over me. I am unaddicted. I am stable, the stability factor in all things. I bring peace in the midst of chaos. I am formless. I am multidimensional. I take a form, but I am not the form. I am stillness. I make no movements. I do everything from the place of stillness. I am joy. This joy does not depend on outside events, external events. It does not depend on the circumstances. It is an eternal joy. I am that. I am abundance. I have attracted and am every wealth, health, wholeness that is me. I am abundance. I am everywhere present. There is no place that I am not. As the essence that God is, that I am the same as, I am omnipresent. I am the knower. I live by my knowing, not by beliefs. I am unattached. I am able to let go of everything because I know what is valuable. I am what is valuable. I am sacred. I am holy and sacred. I am unlimited. I see from the God vantage point. Therefore, I am unlimited. I see every opportunity and am able to face every challenge gracefully. I am love. I am truth. I am life. I am all potential. I am. I am. Be still and know that I am God. And so it is. And so it is.
Okay.
All right. That was good. That felt good like a medicine. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, there's Pearl came in the house. Hey,
Miss
Pearl.
Pearl.
And
good to
there's
see
Jill
you.
Jill and Brother
Miss
Kessler. You guys came in. Glad you came in. And there's comes Phyllis and Edward. Hey, Phyllis. Good to see you guys with us today. What you got on your plate, Mr. Saul?
Being saved is not enough.
Well, you know, the last time we did a session, my last thing I left with them was, who were you before you were saved? Who were you before salvation?
Praying is not enough.
Okay.
Seeking God is not enough. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We started out seeking God to find what is the price that we have to pay for God's miracle working power. This is the evangelistic healing
Mindset.
mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where everybody that goes to church and spend time, the preacher is responsible, the pastor is responsible for speaking a message that strikes you to the degree that you see God in the service or you feel Him.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you come out on Sunday and Monday, you go to work, and you always say, I got to go back and get me a dose or get me a little bit more. There is an answer to that. But the distractions, every distraction in this story dimension is designed to keep you, us, them, we, from finding the absolute. There is a once and for all answer, solution to everything that we've had looked for and studied and in this world. And I didn't see that when we first started out because I had to go through whatever it took to get us, me, you,
Mm-hmm.
to this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And if we had written a book back when we first started ministering,
Mm-hmm.
our book would not be relative today based on what we have already discovered and come into. It would be very
Mm-hmm.
elementary, I should
Mm-hmm.
say, and would not match
Mm-hmm.
the knowing that we have now.
That's right, Miss Linda. You're right.
She said, I was saved before I was saved. Yes, ma'am.
You don't need to be saved to see what we're discussing tonight. You don't need to have knowledge of the Bible.
Yeah.
There's only a few nuggets that I found out that will actually optimize, present, and spread out everything in front of you in the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
When we do puzzles, it exercises the brain, the mind.
We need to get some puzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
I'm saying this tonight because when my wife and I had gave her, and not too many ladies or pastors or whatever it is you want to call it, get a chance to go up inside of an engine or engineer a train diesel on railroad tracks, and I'm breaking it down to you. Ladies don't really go into that, but
they don't really have an interest in a lot.
But I took her to a place where she could go up in one and see how they work. Boys would like that too, but I had a chance to go inside of one and ride with the engineer, simply because when I started making toys, I made engines out of wood that would be, you could push it on tracks made out of 2x4 in the yard. And it's something to get into, but because that's my taste. Okay. But anyway, when I took my train engine up to Norfolk and Western classification yard, the engineers saw what my train looked like on the back of my truck. And there was an engineer by the name of Grice, Mr. Grice. I would go up there every day and watch them move the trains and the cars back and forth. During that time, it was no rules regulated on this type of thing that I was doing. But Mr. Grice called me up into the engine, and I went up there. I mean, you talking about something amazing. I had a chance to see what it like to operate that thing. Well, if you don't know anything about it, you would think that there's a whole lot of work to drive one of those things, but it's not. In the package of that engine, everything is controlled by levers, and all he's doing is watching the tracks and watching the gauge for the air pressure, and that's it. That's all he does. Just sit there and watch the track, watch the gauges, and there's air pressure, speed, just like a car, but you're not mashing the accelerator. You got levers in there that you turn, and the engine to just speed up. It's really amazing. Now I'm saying all this to say, metaphorically, I'm saying this to say the walk of God is nothing like what I thought it would be compared to when I started out. I found out that in the package deal, and I thought I'd go around preaching to everybody. You need to get Jesus. You need to see Jesus. You need to if you don't, you go in there. That is so unnecessary, only when you find out that it is not necessary.
Do you feel, and I don't want to cut you off, but do you feel like because we came through the Christian religion and that was so deeply entrenched in us, those beliefs and things you just mentioned, that even now in our knowing, you feel the need to reconcile that in yourself?
Yes. I feel that a lot of you guys out there now that haven't been through this, it would be more weight in gold, the price of gold. It would be one of the greatest things you could ever experience with somebody tutoring you through it, so that you will be, wisdom will work through you better.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel, and I think I feel what you feel, the beliefs that we had that now no longer serve us, those beliefs now feel like a barrier or resistance to what we know is true.
Yeah. All right, here's a good example. When someone loved one dies in a family, you got people who says, I mentioned to my cousin one time, they want to go out to the graveyard and put flowers on the grave.
Yeah, and I can understand that.
I can understand that.
Freshly passed. Okay. I can understand that.
And I can't change that, but that's because it's conditioned. But when I found out, now here's my point. When I found out that there is a no dying self, okay, no dying self inside of these bodies, when I woke up,
these bodies are inside of. Yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
when I woke up to the truth that I woke up to was, I'm gonna say, we say like Jesus said, He's the truth, the way, the truth, and the life, and the light. When I found out that it was me inside of Him saying these eternal truths, that was already us before getting inside of these bodies. We were already truth.
Yes, we are truth. Yes.
Before any salvation notion came up.
Because there is no such persons as Antoinette and Clifton.
Okay.
There's only truth here. And we know that now. One of the things that in Keely's, Mitch Hay Keely, she says, it would be easier had I not been so ingrained from church.
Well, I used to think like that too, Miss Keely. But this is where, oh gosh, I'm trying to push through the eons of presence of that condition. What I have in mind is a picture. I want to
paint us the picture.
Okay,
just paint us the picture.
All right. I want to come out of the grave
of
being something, doing something that, oh shucks, I know this, but I can't say it.
Paint us the picture. Okay. What's the grave that you're talking about?
Okay. When Jesus was in the tomb, He could not get out of that tomb with the old physical body that was taken in there.
Exactly.
But that body had to go through something.
A transfiguration.
It had to go through a due process for Him to be able to discuss the secret to Him coming out of the tomb. The secret to Him coming out of the tomb, we think is resurrection power, anointing. We think it's the Father, Him being God and Him being the Son of God, and for salvation. But there's something much more simpler than that brought Him out.
What was that? What was that? Or can you say? You say?
I can. Hearing, healing, everything is compacted into what I'm trying to say. I thought that the most amazing thing that happened was the resurrection. It is not.
Right.
I had a chance this week to look at the back of Jesus during the crucifixion. I had a chance to walk to the back side and see His muscular looking back. And He was a very trim, no overweight guy. And when I looked up, His back was mine and my back was His. But what the power of God was, not Him being on the cross, not Him dying, not being buried, not being raised on the third day. I'm just going to try to go ahead and say it now.
Okay.
What brought Him out of the tomb was beingness.
Okay, you gotta go a little further than just
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try to take it further.
Okay.
Because I'm speaking to you guys out of insight.
I know.
Okay. There is one nugget that can come out of the mother lode of where all the gold comes from down the stream. One nugget is called the mother lode. That is enough wealth in that to cover anything that you could think in the ego or no ego that would answer the question. Here's one. Muja, you guys know about him, and he's one of the sages that talks about uh, non-duality. There was a young man that came up in front of him and said, he said, told Muja, said, I got peace. I got a good relationship with family. I got all the things that I need. But he said, I got the joy, the happiness, the fulfillment of all those areas. But he said, there's one thing missing.
And what is that?
And that was money.
Yeah, most of us want to
Okay,
say that.
okay.
Yeah.
The answer to his question was not giving him a formula. The answer to the question of the statement of the woman that had the issue of blood in the scripture, she found out that it was not going to the different doctors until she had to go through that in order to come to the end of the seeking self, the praying self.
Yeah.
The
And
repetitions
yeah.
of statements. Go ahead.
And I think because we came through the Christian religion, and I'm not saying that that's we're feeling this only because of that, because I think there are other people who've been wrapped up in other religions, other spiritual groups, even, or communities, and they were constantly seeking, constantly trying to work on themselves, and that seeker has to die, doesn't it?
Okay.
Or dissolve.
Okay. Merger.
Okay.
When I worked in R.J. Reynolds, they had different compartments. And in these compartments, they didn't allow you to bring what was in that other compartment in the same building, in the same room, unless you applied for it. And when R.J. Reynolds was the cutting department and the stacking department of tobacco, and the cleaning and I went through everything that tobacco has to go through to get to the cigarette.
Right.
And they say, "Well, where are you going?" I'm going outdoors, but I had to go through the cutting department from the drying department. And when I went to lunch, I had to walk through the tub stacking department. All of them was R.J. Reynolds, but they were divided up.
They were compartmentalized.
You had, yeah. And I used to wonder about that, but that was the way the mind of the ego worked.
That is the way it works.
Now, Keely, you said you wish you had never gone.
She said he thought it would be easier.
Yeah.
If she wasn't ingrained in
it's what you're saying is exactly what most of us say until we find out the definition of the word easy.
Okay.
And that you went through was a tremendous asset. It would be like this. Jesus went through the Sanhedrin. He went through the beating on the back. And that you say, if it was me, I never would have done it. Well, it was you inside all those people as well as inside of him that was doing that. But once we call it in the church, you got to grow and you're not old enough yet. That ain't got a hot dog, bad cheeseburger thing to do with it, okay? All I'm saying to you is that everything in everything that seemed to be a speed bump, a block, a hurt, a pain, a disappointment, growth in family services, identity, they were designed to bring you to what I'm talking about now.
And I understand your passion about this. I want to come, this is for me now. I want to come to the place, having worn the identity of a minister and pastor. I want to come to the place where I am no longer wearing that identity, that I can speak from the truth of what I am, because that is simply an identity and a label that I wore and I functioned in. And when I speak from that, I speak only that language.
Yeah.
And so I've longed to drop those clothes and to stop wearing those clothes.
Now, it is very taxful working now to try to explain or talk to you about this, because it is easier for me now and it will be for you to be silent
Mm-hmm.
and not take on the identity. I must do this. I must get people fixed and see what I'm saying.
Yes.
I must have so many members. I need a lot of
Followers.
followers. And then it is this. It's very subtle. It'll switch over. I don't have to, and I'm not going to. All of that is
And slice your own nose off to spite your face.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now here it is. Here it is. And I'm
you stirring up some comments now.
Oh, I know I did.
Yeah, you are. So we're gonna have to let them say some.
It is a path that Miss Jill just said to where we are. But listen, to get to where we are, you don't get anywhere to be are. Okay.
Yeah, but that's an awakening.
But that's okay.
And you're right. I'm just saying you're right.
When you
it's an awakening to remember that you are already there.
Yeah. You can, like my man that works on my Jeep, he comes to talk to me, and when I get to talk to him, he goes to crying, and he's about 7 feet tall, and he comes down on my level just to lean over and get a cramp in his back, just hugging me. But he's so dirty. He got grease all over him, and I'm standing there. And I'm thinking, oh, you're going to get grease all over my shirt, all over my... But he don't care.
Look.
So I have to get like him. I don't care. But it's a job to not care.
You do. And let's see what Sinette said. She said, the being love, just being love is not attached to the what happens.
Okay.
It is indifferent for what happens, just love. So no sin, no martyr, of no difference between man and Jesus, the Son of God. And you mentioned that there's no I've got to help the other, fix the other one. And I was looking at this list of universal beliefs, and one of them is, it's my job to make you happy. It's my job to fix you. That's a universal belief.
Oh, Lord.
That is in each conditioned person.
We go back to the train engine. The steering wheel in that engine is the wheels and that metal track. It follows a track effortlessly.
Well, I was about to ask you, why do you need a steering wheel when you've got tracks that you stay on?
Okay.
Why do you need a steering wheel?
Okay. You don't
need one. Is it possible when we get on the track of our life that is destined for us, we don't need a steering wheel?
Okay. I'm going to tell you what the track is. I'm going to tell you what the engineer is.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
I'm going to tell you who the engineer is. That is driving and using the controls to move that engine is one essence within the engine's identity. Okay. Being saved is not enough.
It's not.
One of the most troubling things that you guys know that you will find out is that, watch this, nothing has to be changed in order for you to see by the insight of revelation of God who you really are. At such a time that your infinite identity sees fit, at such a time the no dying self. God Almighty, I'm telling you too.
But we have idolized the seeker, and we felt that the seeker was a noble thing. To be the seeker is a noble thing. That I must have this constant urge to find and to be more and to want to be more and all of this. And then we find ourselves in what I call a conundrum where you end up in like the hamster in the cage. You're just going around and round and round and round the wheel trying to fix something that's broken and you can't fix. And accepting that truth of who you are should take you at some point away from the seeker.
Okay.
Or does it?
I'm on to get what you're saying, and that's a word I want to use. Let's just say it like this. We are the walking seeker. Okay. Seeing in our walking. The reason why you can't see Jesus is because you're him.
Yes. Yes. It's like your eyeball trying to see itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are the walking, moving path of God that is drawing nigh unto himself.
Yes.
You and I put an in conjunction. I noticed some of the trains, they have 7, 8, 9 engines, 1 or 2 in the middle and 1 on the back end pushing. There's a name that they call that, but they work by control centers, radio control up in the main part of the engine. One engine controls the whole thing. But if he got in that engine and decided that, how in the world is this thing going to stay on the track? How in the world can I stop it? He's going to ask these questions in training, because in training, they're going to show him that engine is made without struggle, made to perform without any questions asked. Did you catch that? The answers that you're looking for, and let me say this to you guys. You being able to tell me on this note of screen what you say about being love and being peace. Okay, here we go. My wife and I found out what we were really like, not through conversation and affirmings on the telephone. We said, I love you, love you, love you, love you, and say that all night long and then run out and say it over and over again. But when I went to see her, it was not enough for me to see her. I had to spend time alone with her. Sweetheart, you and I have had enough. We have had enough of the distance between us and God. All this stuff, it serves its purpose, but eventually you will come home to saying all that we had to go through to get here is one of the most important things in my life, but it was not enough until I got to this point to see who she was. And the Lord said to me, Spirit said to me, and that night he said, have I not been so long in bed with you and you've not known it? Well, we wouldn't think of Jesus and God and Spirit sleeping in the bed with a woman or a man and getting married and all that. All we see is what the Bible says and what the preacher says and what the other witnesses say that they experienced when they met God. That still does not answer the question and make the statement real to you, what I'm talking about now. This thing will, what I'm talking about, when it is seen, it will stop the train on the track and reaffirm your insight and will say to you, your tongue will jump out your mouth will drop. You mean to tell me that it didn't take all of this, but it did to get to this point of seeing there is a rest.
Take you some water.
Yeah, I'm dry.
All you're doing is explaining what they have termed as the hero's journey.
The who journey?
The hero's journey.
Oh,
and some of you guys may have heard of this.
Okay. The hero's journey.
It's just a storyline, and it's in every really good movie, just about, where somebody who's at home, He's seeking more. He's not satisfied with what's going on where he is or she is. They start off on an adventure. They take off, and in that adventure, they face all of these different challenges, and they get to they overcome all of these obstacles, and they fight their demons, and they fight the monsters, and then they get lost, and then they find their way, and then at the end of the journey, they find themselves back home, and they find themselves back home in peace. That's the hero's journey.
Okay.
And so that tells me this: what has changed from the time we started out, when at that I just got saved point, I just became a Christian point, that at that particular moment, we thought, because of what we experienced, that we knew God, and we knew what God was. Over the years, what has happened, the only thing that has changed with us and in us, is our understanding of what God is. And our understanding of what God is has completely opened our eyes. And so now we realize that all of the other things that we went through, while we had to go through those things. We did learn things. We learned things and we discovered things. Mostly what we discovered was things about ourselves. And so we come to the end of this hero's journey and realize that what we really found out is what God is, and the nature of God, and who God is. And nothing else has really changed.
Who was the baby that you say was you conceived? I'm going to give you the answer. God. Who was the baby that had to learn how to walk? God. Who was the child that grew around uncles and grandmothers and failed? I mean, I'm taking you in pieces of the track that you've walked. Everything that took place from what is called a day one birth, your mother and father conceiving, that was God. We used to separate and say, well, it ain't God unless the Holy Ghost in it. Hold it. Jackie Gleason say, hold it.
And you know why you can say that is because in everything that we went through, in our seeking, every time we sought God in any particular thing, it failed. It failed because God was not in all of that. And what we've done is we're the seeker who has now found. And so the seeker must find.
Okay.
The seeker must find. And so that's what's happened to us, is that we have come to the place where we finally found God, where he is, who it is.
We thought when the altar call takes place that we need to come to Jesus and give our life to God. Oh, what a relief it is. Let me tell you something. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm holding, but we got a lot of comments.
I know you have, but I got to get this out to you.
Go ahead. I'm
waiting. I'm going to get it out to you.
I'm waiting. Go
okay.
Ahead.
Everything had to be Jesus, God, Spirit, in order for God to come to himself. And the coming to God self is God realizing that he's always been in the finite area, infinite.
Yes.
As us. This whole thing is wrapped up in God is, and there's no other living being and going. We get these cliches so perfect when we write them and we see them, like on the class tonight. That's okay, but it ain't worth a fat baby's butt, because I'm telling you the truth. When this thing is realized, you're gonna find out that you never did have to come to God the way you were taught, but you had to go through this as God to find out in the end of it that you never been anything else but him.
And well,
That's what I'm talking about.
and this is the thing. We sought God in, I wrote it down.
Ooh,
Best I can
wow,
remember.
this is something.
We sought God in rituals.
Yes.
We went through every ritual
Yes.
we could think of.
Oh,
I mean,
glory.
from rooter to tutor. We went
Yeah.
through deliverance.
Yes.
We went, I mean,
Yes.
everything. The
Look
long
back
hours,
at your past. Look
long
at it.
hours of prayer.
Yes.
We reading the
Ooh,
Bible and trying to
glory.
memorize as much of it as possible. Go to church
Yes.
and not do anything that we
Yes.
considered was wrong or that God
Yes.
would not be pleased with. And all of this. And we sought God in rituals. We sought God in places.
Yes.
Certain places were supposed to be holy.
Yes.
We couldn't even let children run in the pulpit because we
Yes.
thought that was
With
contaminating the
Yeah.
whole thing, the altar.
Go ahead, girl.
And so we sought God in events. If we had
Yes.
if we had an all-night prayer,
Oh, yes.
or if we had a ceremony of something that we considered sacred, we sought God in that. We sought God in emotional states. If I could just get this emotional state, we thought that's God. God was here. We sought God in all of that and realized he wasn't there.
Stand.
The same as Elijah.
Yes.
When he said he saw the fire, he heard the noise, the earthquake, all of that, and God wasn't in any of it.
Yes, yes.
He was the still small voice.
Lord have mercy.
Now you see.
Lord have mercy.
Now I got to do some comments. Jill said, first of all, I'm going to go back to what Jill said because Vincent commented on her comment. She said, Jesus came to the end of himself and his earthly path. This led to his resurrection. And then Vincent says, yes, Jill, Jesus reflected on his disposition. His perception dissolved into the absolute of the all, causing him to vibrate higher than the highest of consciousness, becoming the son of absolute. And then Keely said it's helping her so much. And the seeker is exhausting. Yes, sweetie, I know it's exhausting. I know it. Linda says we are all that. A bag of Jesus chips and an infinite Snickers bar. Always have been, always will be, just how it is. Yes, sweetie, that's true. That is so true. Now, Sinette's coming back. She said, yes, it's like a challenge we meet and we just allow Holy Spirit or Jesus to step forward and show the way. Then our divine consciousness steps up. Step by step we are divinity itself.
What I'm seeing is chop, 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 chop.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing is,
and we're speaking from our Christian point of view, but and there are people who have been in other groups, as I've said, spiritual communities, and they've had the same journey.
Here's the lonesome Christ. When I saw Jesus' heart, I didn't know I was seeing mine.
Right. We didn't know when we were seeing him. We were seeing ourselves.
I looked through the wall and I saw me come down the stairs.
Oh, man.
And then I turned my head and looked back and I saw him come down. He was doing everything that I was doing. As the nun doing no dying self.
Yes.
I want you guys to talk to me about this because this thing is about to explode inside.
I know, we feel it right here. It's really prevalent right here.
Step by step.
It's just
is
really,
God stepping. You are the stepping of God.
Yes. Now, Sister Chris says, hey, Sister Chris, she said, after all that going and doing, only to find out that I and the Father are one.
You don't have to stop doing anything, and you don't have to start doing anything. When you find this out, you'll say, do what you want to do. Go for it. You go on. But you know what?
But we live out of premeditation.
Thank you.
We live out of premeditation. We're constantly thinking of what we need to do.
Yes.
What do I need to do? And then we'll think about doing it before we do it, wear ourselves out about that, and then we'll do it. And after we've done it, we'll think about how we did it and wish we'd done it better. So we're constantly in that mode. And so it isn't, like you said, it isn't a doing or not doing. It's a simply letting yourself be. And trusting, because the doer is going to do.
Right. Behind every addiction is God.
Listen to this. Jesus did not pray to the Father because he felt like he needed to pray, and he had to pray in order to keep his relationship with the Father. Jesus prayed because that was just what he does. There was no mandate. And with my first glimpse of freedom was when I realized God places no demands on somebody that's already been under conditions.
In what is called past life regression.
Hmm.
That state that it takes for you to go back through a past life, many lifetimes regression. Go all the way back.
Oh, you just made me go back.
What was that
I
movie
went
we
back.
saw about the lady who had the power when she took they overdosed her with drugs? If the name of the movie was named after her name. It was a real popular
You have to
movie.
give me a little more clue than that.
Yeah, well, she was they put drugs in her stomach.
Oh, you're talking about Lucy.
Lucy.
Yes.
That she's a that Hollywood got a typical example of it. Now listen, I want you to see this. And if you don't, you will. There is a place in here
Mhm.
where all the suffering that Jesus went through as you and you went through as him.
Yes. And I remember last time my sister stayed with me. That's Renee, my sissy. She pointed something out to me, and I've never forgotten it.
Glory be
She
to
said, "Do you realize you say I've got to all day long?
God. Mm-hmm.
Some of us live in that I got to, and we feel we got to. And what we're saying is there is a place of absolute non-doing, but the doer does. The doer still does. And the doer still does, and things still get done. That's the glory of it. It's a trusting. It's a very very uh, uh, it's an expansive trusting. Now I gotta read some of these comments. We've been running our mouths. Carolyn says, I am one with the universe, the Father. And then she says, I have one mind. I am no longer divided against myself. Yes, you mentioned that once before, Carolyn. And that's a very good saying, very good way of looking at it. I am no longer divided against myself. Sinette says it is like a person looking in the mirror, realize it's a person looking in the mirror and not the mirror that I thought it was. Yes, yes. And then Vincent, of course, is saying absolutely about Jesus praying. That's right. He wasn't under any mandates to continue to do spiritual disciplines. He was not under mandates to keep record of how much he prayed or how long he prayed or how he if he had to fast or if he knew the scrolls or if he witnessed to anybody or if he was walking in a place where God was approve of him. He wasn't under that what is that?
You know, I wish that I say this to make a point that every one of you could have been could, and I know you were, but could have gone through the 50 years of investigating into how Jesus healed people and was raised from the dead.
Yeah.
And my research into near-death study. Let me tell you something, sweetheart. The awesome insight revelation that strikes you is that when you look at your arm and can see the hair growing out of it, magnified 10,000 million times at your sight.
And that's not human sight.
That's right.
It's not human sight.
You are the insight, the outside, seeing everything the way it was designed to be. Well, I wish I could change. Forget it. That's God wishing to himself.
And wishing will eventually come to an end.
Now. The name that I see on the right side of this screen, you just bear with it. You bear with it. It's not important. The place you work, It's not important. What is important? One day you get snatched. I'm going to say that you get snatched the hell out of the struggle.
That's it.
You get snatched.
The struggle.
She gets snatched the hell out of getting tired of being tired and sick and tired of being
sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yes, yes, sir.
I got to do something about it. Let me tell you.
But that's coming from a fear of letting go and a fear of being able to trust, a fear of being taken care. You have a fear that you're not going to be taken care of. That's the belief that we really don't believe we're going to be taken care of. And so the fear of letting go, absolutely letting go to God.
Your daddy, Leslie, in the conditioned self that he's in now, in his body, God, you say, I want God to heal my daddy. Had you ever thought that there's something more important than healing your daddy? And that is, you'll have to see the most important part of this thing. Okay, here comes. When Jesus said, I was sick and you visit me not. Do you know Jesus is your daddy? Don't go around saying to everybody what I just said. Just see it.
Yeah,
you're not obligated to tell anybody what I said or what anybody else said, because if you do that, you miss the point. The point is not telling anybody anything. The point is seeing it.
For yourself.
Without
yes.
telling it.
Yes. Now, Pastor Norman says it's the place of rest. Yes.
Yes, it is.
And Carolyn says, I can trust my intuition. I can use my rational mind to plan.
Yes.
What a wonderful revelation. Yes. And James says we're exploring God. Yeah. We are exploring God, and God is constantly expanding.
Pull this in to the Passover supper. Sit down with yourself, Christ, and have a little talk with Jesus, or have a little talk with Leslie, have a little talk with James, have a little talk with Sinette, have a little talk like that. I was in therapy today, and I told the therapist about her son and how an angel was reshaping his feet, the arch in his feet. I looked at her and her eyes were watering. He's a little bit on the handicapped side, but he's
autistic.
Still autistic.
He's autistic.
And when she walked out, I spoke to me. And when I spoke to me, I spoke to God. She did not need to hear anything more than what was said. But the whole thing was a setup. It is no longer I that live, but Christ that live. And the life that I now live in this physical body, I live by the faith of, not mine, of my real self. Faith moves from belief into facts. Faith moves from a passion practice of confession into beingness that I've always, the journey is over. The journey is over. You have now found the son and daughter of God in the real tomb, these bodies.
Yes. And he's waking up in the Golgotha.
Yep. This is your Golgotha. Your whole life has been Golgotha, and it's still going on. You are coming out of the tomb and going back and forth in the tomb and out of the tomb, in the tomb and out of the tomb. But now we're going to dissolve the tomb because you are now resurrected. Yeah. Hallelujah.
Glory be to God. Scripture.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Okay, this is in Romans 7. I could read a whole lot more, but I'm not. I'm going to read just a couple of verses. It's in the 5th and the 6th verses. It says, for when we were in the flesh, or I should say in the body, in the meat suit, the motions of sin or the motions of misidentification, which were by the law, the do's and the don'ts, did work in our members to bring forth fruit unto death. But now We are delivered from the law, the do's and the don'ts. That
Mm.
being dead wherein we were held in death, that we should serve now in newness of spirit, not in the oldness of the letter. In other words, we are not bound by any laws of mandates. There are no mandates on you. God has no mandates on you. You have moved into another way of living,
Yes.
which is freedom.
Yes.
Freedom and trusting that the heart that you have is open to God and will always walk the way God needs you to walk, because it's God walking.
Mhm.
It's God
Mhm.
walking. But you have to come to the end of that, don't you?
We are not trying to tickle your ears
Or convert you.
or convert you. We are
Mm.
you making them
Reminding
statements.
yourself. Yes, reminding
Keely,
yourself.
look, honey, the COVID and all that kind of stuff. Oh, there are some worse cases.
Oh yeah.
But honey, let me tell you something. God is.
Now I want to read just a couple of more comments, if you
Yeah.
don't mind, Pastor. Sinette says, unconditional love cannot set conditions
Yeah.
for its love creation. That is not unconditional love nature.
Oh my
Yes,
Lord.
yes, Sinette.
My
Thank you,
Jesus.
darling. Thank you. Keely said, just sharing. COVID has hit our home and it has hit me the hardest. I've been so sick and felt trapped in my own mind. It feels like an eternal journey.
Yeah.
We understand that, Keely.
We do.
We have our challenges here,
We do.
and it's been hard. It's been tough. But that doesn't pull you away from your knowing when you're fixed in your knowing.
This thing is so there.
It is.
Here. And always have been us.
Mhm.
God, listen to this. The pure self has always been there in the midst of the tainted disease problem self. You cannot separate your real self from the junk by studying, praying, and seeking. The who you are and always been automatic separated by just being in the separation.
So rest from your labors. Pray.
Oh, I wish I could
pray,
say
but
it.
only if you really want to. Meditate, but only if you really want to. Speak to others about your convictions, but only if you want to. Do whatever you do, but only if you want to, not because you feel you have to, and not because you fear you're not going to become, or not because you fear that you're not going to get there, not because you fear you're going to lose anything.
That's right.
Do it only because you want to, because your heart, if you're living from your heart wants to. But it may not want to do it at a certain time every day. It may not want to do it every day. But it will do it. Your heart will do it. It's just a life of freedom and rest.
I heard that song that, oh, I want to see him look upon his face. What's the words to that song? About his loving grace.
Oh, I want to see him look upon his face.
Yeah.
There to live forever on his saving grace.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Go ahead, girl.
On the streets of glory. I can't remember the rest of it. Prepare your path and home at last, never to depart. I don't remember.
Never to depart. Lord have mercy. I'm going to hatch a square duck egg right here on the scene and let y'all see what Jesus looked like hatching a square duck egg.
Oh, my gosh. He's popping, Vince.
Oh, Lord have mercy, baby Jesus, his cousin, Uncle, nieces, boys.
You guys don't realize we preach to ourselves.
Yes.
And it helps us.
Oh, Lord. We're going to talk about this some more. Every time we talk about it. If we don't say anything, we'll still talk. Talk about it. Read about it. Don't pray about it. Just be about it.
And Carolyn says, need not want. Yes.
Huh?
Minister someone somewhere, whether I want to or not. Need not want.
Ooh. Yes, Lord.
Not under any
Oh, glory be
mandates.
to God. Love you too, girl. All of y'all.
Look, Vincent says, show
Ooh.
me the squares, Pastor.
Oh, well, you come on over here and see if I'll show you something, boy. I'll tell you the truth.
Oh, my land.
I'm gonna tell you something.
Mm,
You gonna see this
mm.
love of God has never stopped working through any of us. I don't care how mean and ugly you've been.
Paul said this in the scriptures. By the grace of God,
Grace.
I have labored more abundantly than you all. By the grace of God, I am what I am. In other words, he wasn't trying to be more than them. He wasn't trying to work harder than them.
That's right.
He was just doing it because it was the grace that was working in him.
It is spontaneous.
Mm-hmm.
In the old day, we go to the kitchen stove, the wood stove, and fry egg. We went out of the Crisco or lard that we fried it.
It was lard back then.
Yeah. Then we found out how to use butter. But over the stove.
The best cooks use butter, but it's not the best cooks use butter.
But when we in the morning, that you had to heat the stove up to fry eggs.
No, you're going way back.
Listen. Reach up over the stove and you don't have any grease to put in the pan, and you have to use that cup where you put and that can where you pour the
with that
fish grease, chicken grease.
Wow.
Turkey grease.
Yes.
Even put a little bit of old grease in there from around the last pan.
Well,
cleaned.
Back in the day, we would buy blacks. I know black African American people. We know about this stuff, especially in the South. We lived off pork. That's probably why a whole bunch of us had high blood pressure, but not so much now. But we would buy fat back meat and stuff like that and save the grease to cook with because it was economical. But anyway, that's right. Anyway, I don't know why you brought all that. But anyway, look, I've got to read one more comment. Okay. Sinette says, you are both light buzzing, and my mind goes so silent when I hear you because it's the truth, and the knowing gets strong. My heart gets more open because of you speaking up in your light-hearted way. Thank you so much, Sinette. Oh, my God. Oh,
bless your heart.
You guys don't realize
bless your heart.
How much we need to hear that. And thank you so much, Sinette. Thank you.
Grace
sometimes we don't know if we're making a dent, but thank you, Sinette.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hallelujah. Bless all of you. I thank you so much for just allowing the Christ that you are to meet the Christ that we are. We are so filled with you. Wow. I didn't know it was like that. That was a nugget.
Yeah, we're so filled with you.
We are so filled with y'all. We are filled with Leslie, Linda, Lane, Joe, Renee. We are filled with Jill and all you little Jill Harperses out there. We are filled with everybody in the universe.
Yes. Thank you, Jill, for reminding us. We always forget to remind you guys to please give. We thank you for the giving that you've done over the year of 2022. You've blessed us tremendously, and you've kept the ministry going. And thank you for those of you who graciously considered paying for the StreamYard subscription, which is $240, which is coming up on the 15th. That we're going to have to pay for the platform that we use to stream to both Facebook and YouTube, and in the future probably on Instagram. Just haven't set it up yet. But thank you guys for that and for giving to Pastor and myself. Blessing us, and we've been able to do a few things that we weren't able to do before because of your giving. Thank you so much. And I talked with Laverne earlier today. She said something about she's got to work on contribution statements and all of that because we know the tax season's coming up and you guys will want a statement. And so she's got your email. If she doesn't have your email, most of you who've given to us or who have actually sent to Cornerstone, she's got an email for you. If you don't know if we've got your email, then send it to Life Center Cornerstone. Let me type that in for you because want to make sure that you guys know where to send it. If I already have it, don't send it. I don't need it if you already have given it to me. But just in case, this is the email that you would send it to if you're not sure and you want to make sure you get a contribution statement. If you sent it directly to Cornerstone, you would get a contribution statement, okay? All right, darlings, we have, look, Linda says you have dented me. I knew there was something funny about the way your head was shaped. I don't know.
We are impregnated with each other.
And I wanted to mention to Linda today, there was a lady, I went to the mailbox and baby girl was out playing, and I was standing on the edge of the street. We don't allow her to go in the street, but because I was standing there, she kind of came out with her little toy, and I was talking to this lady, and this particular neighbor of ours said she got mugged today, robbed today. Her car was broken into and her purse was stolen. And we were standing there just talking and about what happened, and baby girl went over and loved on her. And she said, "Thank you. I needed that so much today." So I said, "Yeah, baby girl's good at taking the pain away. She's good for that." Yeah, so I just want to let Linda know that
she was given to us.
And she soothed her in all of that she was going through. Keely, we love you, darling. Love to see you and Mark.
We know now why we haven't heard from you, but it's okay, baby.
Yeah, we love you, sweetie. We want to see you soon. And
Leslie, I thank you for the help that you've given us over the years.
Yeah. Thank you, Leslie. Leslie's talking to all of you, Vincent and all of you.
Yeah.
Because you guys are preaching to each other.
You
really are. You're preaching to each other.
The next time I talk to God, I'll talk to you.
You're teaching each other. You're coming back with such beautiful, profound understandings of truth.
The next time I hear from God, it'll come from you. Next time I take a step, it'll be you and me stepping.
Yes, it will. Now, originally I had said that we would go back on our impromptu for Thursday at 12:30. However, I don't believe we're going to be able to make it this week. We're preparing for Johnny Murray's homecoming, so we're kind of tied up with that. Homegoing, yes. And so Pastor Norman and myself and Pastor, we're all kind of tied up with that right now, but we plan to come back maybe on next week, and we will make sure that you know about that, okay? And I know all of you don't attend that particular session, but hey, those of you who do, I want you to know what's going on. All right, we love you. We'll be back again on Sunday at 10. How about that?
That'd be good.
Sounds good to me. We'll see you later.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.